Hi, thanks for joining me. This is the second video in a series talking about the technical issues or the behind the scenes issues of submitting a self-tape. So I received a self-tape from Actors Access. I mentioned that in the previous video. And as I look it over, I really pay attention to the technical instructions because they have a lot of technical instructions here and you really need to follow them. Like I keep saying, and I will keep saying, it's important to follow these instructions to the letter because they use this as a weeding out process. They're going to get multiple submissions and they want actors who are able and willing and ready to follow the directions and that can read what's sent to them and take it seriously. So I'm looking at some of the labeling instructions right now. So the files should be labeled accordingly. So sometimes each casting director may have a different process of how they want their files labeled that you will submit to them. So you need to pay particular attention to what the casting director says on the breakdown that you receive. Like I said earlier, you may receive a breakdown from your agent and you may receive the information that's behind the scenes that you get through Actors Access. So you want to pay attention to that, how the tapes are labeled. And sometimes the casting director will even have a detailed instructions attached to your sides. So you want to read all that stuff. You don't want to rush through it and just go straight to your lines and see what your character is talking about and read that and forget everything else. You want to pay close attention to the technical instructions so that when you submit your files, they're submitted correctly. I'm going to go through this first one. I'm just going to talk about the labeling right now. For example, they said they want to have your first and last name, then the character you're reading for, and then the scene number. Sometimes you may get multiple scenes. You may get 3 scenes that they want you to read for your particular character. So you would label it based on how they wanted to receive it. It would say your name, the role, and then scene 1. Then the next file would say your name, the character, and scene 2, and so on. And so sometimes you may have multiple, like I said, you may have multiple scenes, as you're going to have multiple submissions. So they will tell you also, sometimes what's great is sometimes in the instructions they will tell you you're going to turn in 3 files. One will be your slate, one will be your scene, and one will be a story. And I mentioned earlier about the story. So sometimes they may tell you right up front, we want to receive 3 separate files from you. And a lot of times I notice now that people ask for your slate to be turned in separately. And this is something that's becoming standard, I think, because if they don't want to look at your slate, they don't have to. So they will just go right to the scene. Sometimes they're seeing a lot of people and they don't want to take the time to look at each person's individual slate unless they're really interested in you. Then they'll go back to your slate and they will look at it to see if you followed your slating rules. And you want to pay detailed information to that because sometimes I make little mistakes on my slating because each casting director asks for something else. They may ask for a particular order. They may ask for your name, where you're located, where you're submitting from. They may want to know your height, and they may reverse those sometimes. And you want to, like I said, you want to be a stickler. You want to follow what the individual casting director is requesting from you so that you are following the rules. And those are the people that they feel comfortable submitting because it's their reputation on the line if they submit actors who can't follow rules and who won't follow rules when they're completely clearly written down. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.